It is Saturday, October 22nd, 2016. This is Room in the Trees, a podcast about stealth bike rides down back alleys. And making art, making stuff, getting started. The following was recorded on October 20th, 2016. This is episode number 25, Leather Weather. A Room in the Trees is hosted by Sabrina Ward Harrison and me, Trent Reynolds. Show notes, including pictures, links, video, and more for every episode can be found at roominthetrees.com. If you like this podcast, please consider showing your support. You can become a subscribing patron at patreon.com/room. You can rate us or write a review on iTunes, which can be a very, very powerful way for us to grow our audience. That link is roominthetrees.com/iTunes. And this week, we have another way for you to support us and give us important feedback. At the top of each episode's show notes section on the website, you will see a button labeled Tip Jar. If you like one episode in particular, you can throw us a tip with credit card or Apple Pay if you're on an iPhone and possibly if you're on a Mac. You listening is also a support, and we're glad you're there. Thanks for helping us build this Room in the Trees. And now, let's get to the conversation.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Happy Thursday. We're not recording on Monday morning. We're going back to our regular scheduled time for this week.
Yep.
Well, we actually should say we did record on Monday. And
it's not one for everyone. Not an episode for the masses.
Speaking of masses, it's so fun that we noticed since our last episode we recorded, we have 2,500 more people that are listening, which I'm just so curious. Where are you listening from?
I know. It's just...
Are you overseas? Like, I was going to say I want us all to hang out, but that would be impossible and inappropriate.
But isn't it so hard to wrap your mind around that? Like,
yes.
Almost 5,000 people.
And if you feel it's, if you're introverted like us, you may not want to reach out and tell us where you're from, and but truly, if you just felt like just leaving us a comment, we're genuinely, really curious about who you are, you specifically, you listening right now. So it's cool. And I don't know, somehow maybe someone's posted about it on social media or written about it in a blog, but
whoever you are and whatever you did.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you for spreading the word, you guys. It's cool. We are just making this up as we go. So we're going to just kind of throw it out there today with just a few, just kind of catch up. It's a new season. It's fall in Wisconsin.
Let me tell you my feelings about 90-degree weather. 90 degrees today.
Are you serious?
Yes,
it's 90 degrees.
It was cooling off, and it was looking like we were heading into winter, and then all of a sudden, Santa Ana winds, 90 degrees. Crazy. Way too hot.
So crazy.
Yeah.
From here, it fluctuated really fast. Yesterday, when I went on my adventure on my bike, it was, t-shirt weather. I was in a t-shirt, but I biked home in a leather.
Tell that story.
Okay, so yesterday I went to acupuncture. I'm so glad I just found a great acupuncturist here in Madison. And I went to my first session with him. And I biked over there. I was like, this weather is, if you live in the Midwest and you're experiencing this, or you did this past week, it was so off the hook beautiful because the leaves are all yellow and golden, but then it was this warm kind of t-shirt, tank top weather. Mm-hmm. So it had this, like, you felt like you were just biking through a beautiful, beautiful, gentle postcard. And so I biked down, and it's right beside one of my favorite thrift stores, local thrift store here in Madison, St. Vincent de Paul thrift store on Williamson Street. And I went in, 10 minutes before the appointment, I went in and I quickly saw two great you know when two great unopened Body Shop lotion butter? You're probably not familiar. But one
I
one
love how
flavor.
you like suddenly retracted that. You know you wouldn't. No, you don't. You don't know that.
Well, one was ginger and the other one was apple. And I was putting it out in the universe. Every time night before bed, I'm like, I want some lotion by my bed to put on my feet. It's a fun fact about me. I just really like to put lotion on my feet before I go to bed, but I just like get another freaking thing of lotion. You have it in the bathroom and have one by the bed. Just so there was. Anyway, got the lotion, zipped out of there, went to the appointment, and came back. And lo and behold, note to self, get your winter things when the store a thrift store puts out, they've been saving up donations all year and they're putting out their fall cozy things, first of the season pickings. So I got some great, because you have to be kind of, it's not about fashion here, it's about warmth in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
It's about fashion a little bit, but you have to be strategically
Oh, it's always about
warm.
fashion.
It's always about fashion a little bit. But so I got a great pajama set that was never been used before. Silk pajamas, top and bottom. This is a whole other podcast. I got some great workout things, and then I overheard this one of the girls that was working there going over the loudspeaker, welcome Vince DePaul shoppers. Happy fall. All leather jackets are $5. Come check out the leather jackets. They're all $5. I'm like, no way. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, they're just going to be like old, gross, kind of long, weathered men's leather stupid jackets or 80s jackets. And I went over there and I found this is moving on. I found 3 great leather jackets. Because usually they're too big, and I found 2 small fitted. One was Eddie Bauer and one was Gap, and they'd never been used before. They must have been donated from like a store. They've never been worn before.
Like original tags on them type deal?
No, they didn't have original tags. The pajamas did, but these maybe had been. I mean, if they had been worn, they'd been worn once. They were just. I'll post a pic in the show notes. But then the real score was a to the floor suede winter coat with not real fur, but kind of big fur collar, and it tied around the waist. And it probably weighs a good like 9 pounds. It's just solidly warm. It's like a giant leather robe. And the woman's like, oh, you've got to get that. That's so good. I was like, done and done. So the thing of it is, though, I scored so much stuff and I was on my bike. And the woman at the counter was like, I said, well, it'd be fun to figure out how to get this home on my bike. They're like, no way. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll figure it out. So
wait, before you continue, we need to review what you have in your hands right now. You are coming out of acupuncture and you've got your 2 bottles of lotion.
They weren't bottles, they were jars. Yeah, jars. 2 jars of lotion.
Oh, like glass jars of lotion?
They're plastic.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, these aren't like little like one-time use squeeze bottles. These are okay.
Okay.
And then you've got the silk pajamas.
Yep. I have a sweatshirt that zips up, a nice like workout sweatshirt. I have a wool, very thin wool undershirt.
Okay.
I had two new bags, and then I had a sweatshirt, and then I had 3 leather jackets.
3
leather jackets. So 2 that were kind of so. I do have these little kind of side pockets on my bike, but I got into this conversation with this woman at the thrift store as I was checking out. She said, I know, I'm just like you. I'm an urban camper. I've got this bag right here, and everything goes in there. Sometimes even I put my kid in there. Just it all fits. She's like, I think we're all going back to that way of just making it work. And she told me about something called Madison Dollar. That's a bartering thing in Madison where someone needs some help designing some kind of letterhead for something, and then in exchange someone else will like mop your floor or sorry, that's not a good example. Like
I think that sounds pretty compelling. I don't know. That's a pretty fair trade.
yeah, I guess I would do it. Did you maybe live with like this? Do you remember the books Amelia Bedelia?
No.
Sorry, it's that just made me think. She was this like misfit. She was a housekeeper, and she I think she did the other things, but everything she did, she just massively messed up. She was so into the mopping thing. I think she had some one of the books. One of the books was about that. Just making a mess, cleaning a house. I just that picture of me trying to mop someone's floor. Okay. Yeah, so I biked home. Bottom line is I biked home wearing the to the floor, very, very, very warm suede fur-lined coat on my bike, and it was tank top weather. And a bike helmet, and then 2 bags on the handlebars and my side packet stuff, and a backpack.
And how far was the ride?
It wasn't bad. It was like 10 minutes. But I tried to take the back. I tried to take the back route.
So people wouldn't see you, or so?
Yeah. Because I'm like, you just gotta power through it. You gotta just bike on home. Just get done. Be there. Because I was gonna walk it home, like with the bike, and I'm like, it's gonna take longer. I'm gonna be wearing this jacket the whole time. Just get through it. Get over there. But I ran into they were asphalting the street because they were finally done with street construction, and I just had to stop because they were in the middle of, and I just had to stop and totally get off the bike in my outfit and ask the guys, I'm like, how can I cross the street? I just thought they're probably just like, what a interesting look. So that's my story about that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh.
That seems like an unusually great take on for one trip to the thrift store, is it not? Or do you regularly have that kind of success?
I did mention to the woman, I said this was a serious, great success.
Yeah.
It kind of felt a little bit spiritual.
I love that. I have to identify with that. I have had similar types of spiritual experiences in my temples of commerce or whatever.
What's one that comes to mind? I know is it the Container Store?
The Container Store is a place I've had spiritual feelings before. Just walking through the aisles, and there's that kind of warmth, feeling of possibility.
Like you see it and it's going to fit something, or more you see it and what kind of possibilities, like,
or like you just find that one thing that you didn't know that was going to fix a problem you've had for what seems like decades, and all of a sudden it's this one thing and it's it.
Yep. Oh my God, that's good. I just want to throw out one other thing I've just been into real quick.
Okay.
I'm heavily into apples.
Heavily. Is this...
Like they're like heavy. I got about 7 pounds of them.
So this is like a literal weight.
Well, yeah, I'm going to count. I can't stop laughing today. I'm going to count how many apples I actually have in my fridge right now, because I was not really an apple person, but I was listening to a podcast about eating paleo, like, and the girl on it was saying how she eats like so many apples a day, like they're so good for you. And then I'm like, oh, like the cliche line, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. So I've been eating apples day and night because I have to wake up in the night because I always am a little bit hungry, and lately have just been getting up and eating an apple.
Huh.
And they're very, very, very good here. They're Macintosh apples. They're so crispy and great.
I imagine you've got places very close by that are can provide
Well, I
lots
bike
of
there.
apples.
Yep. Oh, my laugh is so weird. But yeah, I biked home. I had an entire backpack full of apples. And I got, so apples are great. Did you go today to Liv's, your daughter's school? What happened? What was that about?
Oh, today was the story reading day. It was fantastic. But we went to Liv's kindergarten class, and all the kids had written a story and illustrated the story, and they had a projector that projected their book as they were reading it up onto a screen, so all the parents could see it.
Oh.
And the kids told their story, and there wasn't. Liv tried to write some words, but mostly they're just picture books that all the kids then told a story about what the pictures were showing.
How great! What was one of the stories?
Well, Liv told the story of going to get a Christmas tree, and that it kind of got my eyes watering a little bit. Just because like kids, you think that they're not going to remember this stuff in in 2 years, but she had this memory of last year and going to get a Christmas tree, so she talked about that, and she had this little drawing of our car with the Christmas tree on top and how we took it back to our apartment. And anyway, it was pretty fantastic to see that. But yep, warms the heart.
Yeah.
Most of the stories were like sounded a lot like.
I was thinking it'd be really interesting made up stories, like, and then the big elephant came and was sleeping over.
I was actually surprised. Liv is usually very talkative and very imaginative. So were this a storytelling time at home, she could chew up in a half hour easy, but she was done in like 15 seconds. So I think all the kids were just a little bit shy about showing their books to an audience.
As we all are.
Yeah. But children's drawings are just wonderful to see.
I love when Laura posts them. And Laura's so funny with her captions, with everything. Her humor is just so, so good. And oh my gosh, the latest one about her Liv's just the funniest drawings, and then just the funny thing about the underbite. Like, it's all the fad in kindergarten.
I don't think I saw that one. What did she say?
Something like, she posted Liv's kindergarten pictures. She's like, I guess the forced underbite, all the rage in kindergarten. And then there was a picture of Mara doing sort of the same thing. She's like, just trying to do this, something about, she was attempting it. Anyway, it's really, she's so funny.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you about what you've been working on this week.
Well, this week, and you've been very generous with giving your feedback on this. I finally got a kind of preview or proof of concept section done on my online class that I've been working on for a very long time. I've decided to use the platform teachable.com and feel really good about the way that the class is coming together. I have all the lessons done. I'm just finishing up some project demonstration videos. But
You should be.
I'm
It
just
was
proud of
so
it.
exciting
I
to see
feel
it.
really good about it.
It's just so beautifully shot and paced and cohesive, and I just think it's going to be such a treasure for, to be used as a course within schools, or it's so inspiring to see.
I'm not sure if I've mentioned it on this podcast before, but it's a fundamentals of
Yeah.
visual design course. So
Let's practice pitching it
yep.
right now.
So that's gonna
Let's hear. Yeah, like
practice pitching the course.
because you're just going to be we're going to practice it because we have to become more fluid with what we're stepping into the arena to offer.
Yes. I am so not comfortable.
It's going to be So
So
yeah.
pitching.
Okay. Okay.
How would you do it? Give me some ideas.
Well, maybe we should have someone on a guest that is.
Exactly.
I know.
Where's
There's someone
Tracy
who's
when
a
we
good
need
pitcher
her?
for this. Well,
Yeah. When I was first teaching, when I first started teaching after I graduated from grad school, I got my first teaching gig here at Santa Monica College. One of the first classes I taught was fundamentals of visual design, and over the course of teaching it for probably 3 to 4 years every semester, it's one of those things where just like with repetition, I started to learn the things that I was teaching a lot better. And I noticed such an improvement and a change in how I was able to work with my own artwork. And not only that, but how I was able to talk about art. So it was like I was converted after teaching it for so long. Like I really think it's these fundamentals, understanding just the basics of how visual language works is so important and so empowering. It's like, I shouldn't use sports metaphors because I have no right to, but it's like you hear coaches always say we need to get back to the basics, like to the fundamentals, and that's kind of where the force and power of these things come from. So I felt like when I thought about creating online courseware that it was just a natural place to start. So I think it's a course that will benefit not only beginning students, and it's definitely geared towards beginning students. It was a prerequisite class for all visual artists or visual art disciplines at Santa Monica College. But from my own experience from teaching the class, I know that it's also information and just basic ideas that it would be good for any artist to review and really, revisit.
so good. Trent, that's fantastic.
That's the pitch.
That's something you have that recorded now. That's great. That was well done. You covered a lot, and I think that was like a minute.
Well, good.
Really? Yeah, it feels really fluid. Okay.
Well, thank you. Look for that in the near future, hopefully. Don't know exactly how it's going to roll out, but I look forward to sharing that with you all.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
What's kind of a feeling of like, if I was to take the class, what's the pacing of it? Would it be ideally something I would take maybe once a week, and would I be taking notes on it, or would I be actively making while I was listening to it or watching it?
So the basic format of the class is there are quote unquote lecture videos. Like there are videos that are meant to be the kind of information part of the section, and then accompanying each video is a project. And part of the purpose of the class is to start introducing people to basic materials. So we do projects with ink, we do projects with gouache and with collage and transfer paper, and like we're just trying to expose people to a variety of basic art materials. So as far as pace, I'm still trying to get a feel for that. I don't know. I think there might be some people who want to
Right.
just watch the videos and not do the projects. And if that's the case, then the videos are each about 15 minutes long, so you could go as fast as you want. But I guess what it's meant to do is to essentially be what this class was in real life, and that is like once a week or twice a week, for an hour and a half type deal.
So as you introduce these things, is it you're starting with and then continue to add new elements and things like that?
Kind of, but not really. With the projects, I think it's more just giving people. It's going for breadth instead of depth. Just kind of getting people to start using these materials and get familiar with them, rather
Yeah.
than really kind of taking a deep dive on these materials and seeing how they can be used together.
I'm so excited about it.
So look forward to future projects along those lines.
So what's the latest with the studio? What's happening?
Well, I sent out the email this week announcing that it is going to close, that I'm not, after all, going to be able to continue. The 6-month lease that I signed is almost up. It will be, the last day will be November 12th. And I've got a lot of mixed feelings about it. I think I've mentioned this already here on the podcast that it was most likely not gonna be able to re-sign the lease, but it is official. And this week, I sent out that email announcing that, and I've just gotten a lot of really interesting responses, and just in myself, in retrospect, looking back on this experience and trying to make sense of what it was and what it was supposed to be and my expectations and stuff like that.
So let's break those three down. What was your expectation?
I had a very clear vision of how things would, like how my workshops would be, how the classes would be in the space, of getting other artists involved, and I had some fantastic success. I had people coming here for workshops, and I tried a bunch of different formats, but it never really felt like it clicked, right? And I never really felt like I was telling the story that needed to be told.
Yeah.
And I just found out over the course of this last 6 months that there's so much effort, and so much of my time had to just go into making enough money to pay rent.
Yeah.
And I wasn't able to even accomplish that. Like, it just, rent here is insanity. And that put a lot of pressure on me and on the decisions I was making about workshops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there were these lessons that I learned just about what I want from a space, from developing a community.
And can I throw one thing in there about rent as far as that? Thinking back in the 70s, it's like you would have been able to get a space for maybe, $50 a month. Like, it's just, the reality for artists, the amount of money that artists have to pay to have a place to just and invite people to make work. It's impossible. You're a slave to that.
Right.
Every studio I've ever rented, I ended up having to leave for that exact reason. Every single one, because the pressure to make the rent took over to the creativity.
Yeah. Well, and that's why there's a pretty stereotypical cycle of artists moving into a poorer area because rents are lower, and then when they're there for a while, little shops start to be built up, and then bigger shops start to be built up, and then rent starts to raise, and then artists have to move out, and it's kind of this cycle.
Such a shame.
I knew coming in here that the rent was really high, and I was hoping that just the location, being in Santa Monica, would draw enough people here to be able to offset that cost, and it just didn't.
Yeah.
It just wasn't enough. This is all to say that I had these moments throughout this past 6 months where I had people come in, and they have continued to come in and have wanted to be part of the space, and we've had conversations, and David Lloyd coming here to teach on Saturdays, and he's been on our podcast before.
Yeah.
There have been these people that have come in that I felt like I had a very strong feeling like I was meant to meet these people. Like it was
Yeah.
that thing of like putting yourself out there and having the universe kind of respond, and people be drawn to you. Like just kind of crazy. It seems like almost random that these people were able to find me the way they did, like Craigslist.
Yeah.
And they're all people that I really like. And I didn't
Yeah.
have anybody come in that, just felt like the wrong fit. And so that has been meaningful to me. Like it has felt like the time here has been a success, because I'm starting to see something take shape. And it's not the shape that I had anticipated or that I thought I wanted, but it feels natural. It feels like what's supposed to be rather than what I expected it to be. It's kind of a wonderful thing to witness. I just got a call yesterday from David Lloyd, and he wants
Yeah.
he wants to continue teaching workshops, so he's looking for another space, and we talked about possibly collaborating on finding a different space, and we can find a smaller space for cheaper rent, and
Yeah.
it would meet both of our needs, and like the goals have changed for me of what the space needs to be, and I think I'm only able to understand that because of the experiences I've had over this last 6 months, and we've got pretty solid core group of people who I've really enjoyed working with that are interested in moving to a new space too. So
Oh, that's so exciting! It's like you've created the tribe, and the tribe can move. The tribes
right.
don't stay in one place.
And it's not about a place, it's about the
Yeah,
relationships between people. So.
that's a big shift of kind of perspective for you, I'm
It
sure.
is. It is very much so. And I
Yeah,
sent you that email exchange that I had with somebody this morning. Like
yeah,
it just, there's there's that kind of correctness, this rightness of when you meet
yeah,
somebody that you kind of feel is in your tribe. It's just like kind of the feels like I've always known you type feeling. And
yeah,
anyway, so it is sad to think of losing the space, and it's overwhelming to think of having to move again and just you know strike camp. But I'm also just tremendously grateful for the time that I've had here and the people that I've met, and really excited about what might come next. So
and how relieving, to not have that financial weight of it.
it has
Yeah,
caused a lot of stress. So yes, that will be a good thing.
yeah,
I was talking to one of the people that is here. His name's Brian today, and it came to me that like this new thing that's starting to take shape. This I kind of know what it is. I kind of have feelings of what I want it to be, but it feels so fragile. Like it,
mm,
and I've had this experience before where like you kind of intuitively know that if you try to force it to be something, or if you try to push too hard, or if
mm-hmm,
you try to get people like push on people to kind of get things going too much, like it could just really easily fall apart.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's what I feel right now, is I feel like there's this thing that wants to take shape, and that's kind of starting to resolve a little bit, but it's so fragile. And if I kind of push too hard in one direction, or if I try to force it to be something, that it's just, the bubble's going to pop, and the time is going to pass. So anyway,
that's an amazing thing about intuition, isn't it? Because there's the subtle shade difference between kind of not stepping into the arena and then trying to sort of push the river a little bit when didn't trust, stepping back and trusting the flow
right.
and the unfolding.
That,
And you can't, once you're in, it's like once you get in the arena, you can't, there's nowhere to hide, right? And then, but also you can't.
that's a really good point, and I hadn't really thought about the fact that this fragile thing that I'm talking about it's in the arena, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it feels like I have to be patient and I have to kind of stand still and have, I don't know, it seems like stillness wouldn't be part of being in the arena, but I think there are times when that's
Well, it's standing versus like crumpling to your knees and rolling up to a tiny, tiny, tiny ball, and you're like, "Don't kill me!"
right.
Like with the bull, It's
Because we all know the
I'm
bull's there, the bull's in the arena.
that's what I'm specifically thinking of. Is like a
Right.
big old bull in the arena, and you're by yourself in there. So, no, it's
But yeah, I think we do have this idea, in our past conversations, especially the conversation we had about Brene, and that is, when you get in the arena, there's this feeling like I'm charging. I'm like, like there's an aggressiveness about that. But I don't think that's necessarily
no.
the case. That you can be in the arena and still be like contemplative and be intentional and intuitive as well. So, how are you? How are you in the arena, Sabrina?
Well, oh, this just a little side note about being in the arena, because that made me then think about CrossFit. Is I had a cool little moment happen the other day in CrossFit where I had met this great couple a few weeks ago at one of the classes, and I just said to them, like, they had two kids there that were up in the kind of kid play area upstairs while they were doing their thing. And I said, "You guys just seem like a really great couple." I'm like, I'm such a dork, I'm such a dork to say that to somebody, whatever. So I saw them a few weeks, but I had the feeling like I want to be friends with these people.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed great, and then maybe it was on Tuesday this week. I was there, and the girl said, "Oh, I overheard. Are you an art teacher also?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, I am too. And this other girl, Beth, is also. And she said, "I love it. There's 3 art teachers at CrossFit. We should, and it was just a cool moment of where we exchange information." And
That's cool.
I was like, "Yes." She's like, "We should have t-shirts that say art teachers at CrossFit." But just to begin to, put myself out there to meet new people creatively, expand my creative community in Madison. Um,
That is a fantastic voice. I don't think I've ever.
oh, I can. That's a very funny voice. It's Edith Ann. Lily. It was an old Saturday Night Live skit by Lily Tomlin, and she did this character. Like, my name is Edith Ann, and she sat in a really big rocking chair. She was really small. I've been doing that voice since I was young.
That's fantastic.
I really wanted to always have, since I was even a little girl, I wanted to have a sweater store, but I want to have a home line. Like, I love making a home. I love sheets and duvets and curtains and texture and color, and I love picking and choosing and putting together and the differences, and it's like, it's just totally in my wheelhouse. I just love it. It's intuitive to me. The design part of it, the color sensibility. I want to be doing that. I just want to be expanding in that way. Mm-hmm. So my stepping into the arena stuff is I'm just ready to do that. I want to do it. I kind of do that deer in the headlights thing where I'm like, I don't quite know where to begin with. I don't want it to be, because I kind of I've been wanting to do this basically for the past 8 years. I would say I first started talking about this about 8 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I do this weird thing, and maybe other people can relate. I just kind of talk myself right on out of it, that I can't do it. I don't know how. It's always, yeah. And it's like, it's time to do this. People, I love people's response to it. And I want it, and I think, again, trusting the flow of it, like, like my mom used to say when I first made Spilling Open, I was working and I thought, are they going to suddenly wake up and be like, what the heck are we thinking? She can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, God wants you to make this book. It will be in the world now or 50 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
So I would prefer the Homeline wasn't 50 years from now. That'd be good. So I'm stepping into the arena with excitement and openness to collaborate. And I think I'm just ready to be used, again, kind of circling back to the designing part. I'm ready to be used in the best way I can.
So you posted on your Etsy store, you posted 2 things that represent the beginning of your home line. Am I good?
Just kind of a little sampling platter. Like I did,
Okay.
I have some pillows that could be ordered and some totes. And it's just fun to see them on different shapes of objects. But I see it so much more evolved than in that shape. It's because I need to be with the right tribe of people who make those things. It's knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at. I kind of want to just hand it over to a company where I'm creatively collaborating to produce a line. But there's people that are, it's like making a book, that are more the production designers. There's people where I'm editing along with. I'm mocking up. I'm creating a story palette. I would like to parlay the work I have made and the colors and the textures, and I would like to see them be on, like, I see them on kids' pajamas. Is that weird? I see them on, like, kids' pajamas. I want to make duvets. I want to make tablecloths that are also skirts, like wrap skirts that you can use as a tablecloth, because I've done that many times. I would like to see, I think my work is like kind of, even within my home right now, it feels like it's jumping off the walls, like, come on, make me do something more than just be a piece of artwork. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. So licensing feels like a natural fit for me. I'm more interested in doing projects like that than I am having an art show in a gallery. I've never been that interested in that part of it. I would much rather say, take this huge piece that I've done my work on and roll it up, take it in, turn it into fabric exactly like it is, and I'm going to start making some stuff with it. That's what I think.
Fantastic. I believe you.
Thank you for listening this week, you guys. And we got a message from someone named Kate, submission saying we were asking what people were doing while they were listening. And we got a very clear response. Walk, clean, cook, journal. Boom.
Love it.
Thank you, Kate. So if you're doing any of those things, thank you for bringing us along on the journey. And if you're doing other things, we just appreciate you listening. And we will include show notes, links, stuff. And we have a new window bar that shows archive shows, so you can go back and listen to other episodes. Love to know which ones are your favorites. So that's at roominthetrees.com. And if you would like to be a patron for $2 or $5 a month, it would really help us out. And that's patreon.com/room. And iTunes, guys. It would be so cool if you left a review or rated us. It really helps. You can go to do that, roominthetrees.com/iTunes. And I'm really looking forward to the conversation. Hopefully we'll be recording this week with my first photography teacher, Chris Johnson, who was a huge mentor, significant, wonderful, wonderful professor of mine when I was writing Spilling Open. So I'm really looking forward to that conversation. Go eat some apples. They're really good this time of year. And check out your local thrift store and possibly swing by the Container Store. See if anything spiritual happens at either location and report back. Thanks so much, you guys. Talk to you next week.
That was good.